crafty friends. Amber here, your close to my heart maker, and I am back for another how-to video or a technique video for you guys. And today I'm going to be talking about the Distress Oxides that we now carry from Ranger, and they're awesome, you guys. These are like a juicy ink pad of goodness. I love them. They're so fun for blending, and that's what we're going to talk about today is blending your Distress Oxides. Now, we do have 14 different colors. I have all of them but one. I think I'm missing antique linen. But I've been playing with them and I absolutely love them. They are great for just taking and distressing the edge of your paper like so. And you can stamp with them. But my favorite thing to do is to blend them. And so we're going to go over a few things about blending and how you can get a good blend as opposed to a blend where you see lots of circles in your blending. So what we're going to need is you're going to need an all-purpose mat down. I have a piece of white that is 5.5 by 4.5. I'm going to make this a card front, so I'm going to trim it down a little. But I did start with that size just so usually when you do it, your edges are a little bit darker, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And so I like to be able to trim it down just a little, and I also like a white border around my cards. So there's that. So I do have a piece of white here, which you can use any size you want. I have a paper towel. You're going to want a paper towel, and I'll explain that in a moment. And I really like these daubers that we now carry as well. So let me tell you why, as opposed to like a finger dauber. I like these because they're so much easier to handle. Like I can hold it a lot easier. And when it's time for your sponge to be retired, like it's, you know, done, it's falling apart, this is a lot cheaper to replace just the foam as opposed to replacing the whole finger dauber. So it's more cost effective as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm always down for saving some pennies. I do like that I have one for every color. Now the reason I really like that is because when I'm in there blending, I don't want to have to be putting my fingers on a wet sponge to change out the color because my fingers are going to get nasty, right? Which my fingers will probably get a little messy anyway, but not that messy. And the other thing is, if your fingers are that gross, there's more chances of you mixing colors that shouldn't be mixed, right? So I do recommend having at least a dauber for, or a few daubers, so that if you're playing with 3 or 4 colors, you have a dauber for each of those that you're not mixing them in and out. So I do recommend that. Now I am going to push these up a little so we can get started. And I'm actually going to pull in the colors that I want to play with. Let me move this out of the way. I want to play with Mustard Seed, Spiced Marmalade, Abandoned Coral, and Candy Apple. So I'm going to play 4 colors, and we're going to distress and mix these colors all together. Now, if you're starting with this, I do recommend doing some colors that are kind of in the same family, as opposed to mixing like picked raspberry and peacock feathers, right? These two are going to mix, and they're going to make almost muddy colors. You can make a muddy color. There is a way to blend them, but you just want to start with some like colors first. That was my that's another recommendation. And if you guys do this, cut a few card fronts out and play with it. Much like my video that I did on the gloss sprays. If you get it all out and play with it and make a lot of things, A, you're going to get more comfortable with it. B, you're going to learn some more tricks yourself along the way. And C, you're going to have a stack of card fronts that you can go pull from and add to make a card if you need a quick card. I love that I have a box full of these. I have a box full of card fronts for my Distress Oxides. These are the Distress Oxides. The gloss sprays. And I'm just an artistic person, and I love playing with artsy things. So if you're like that, these tips and techniques are for you. You know, the gloss sprays, watercolors, these oxides. I really recommend if you get it out to play with it, play with it. Do a lot with it because you're going to be happier in the end as opposed to pulling it all out to do one or two things and then having to put it all away and then pulling it all back out, right? So if you get it out and play and do a few things with it, you're going to have more fun with it as opposed to, oh, it's just another thing I have to get out, right? So we are going to start with these 4 colors, and I'm going to start with my lightest shade. I'm just going to scoot these over a little, which is my yellow. Now, the reason I have this paper towel is I'm going to hold my paper with the paper towel as opposed to my fingers because I won't get fingerprints in it this way, and I'll still be able to hold my paper down without mixing the color. Now I have a brand new dauber here, so this is a good thing for me to do for you guys. When you have a brand new dauber, you want to make sure that you get a lot of ink in that dauber. You want it to be juicy. You want to have so much color on it. I have a scrap here that when you put it down, it's like, ooh yeah, there's some yellow. Okay, now you can always test on a tester. You also want to have a tester out here because if you accidentally do mix some colors on this, then you can wipe it off. Now, as you see, I started off of my page and I'm going in circular motions and I'm just making a line. You want to start where your darkest color is going to be and fade your way where it's not going to be as dark. Okay, so I'm going to start with my yellow and then I'm going to do the orange. Now, I am going to move on to the orange, but I'm not going to mix them yet. I just am going to, I need some more on there. I'm going to leave a little bit of a line between the 2 colors. Okay. So again, where my color is going to be the darkest, just kind of down the middle. And I'm going in circular motions and really just soaking that ink into that paper. Okay, then I'm going to move on again to my next color, which is the abandoned coral. I'm going to flip this around so that I can hold it. I'm going to start off the paper, leaving a gap between the spice marmalade and the abandoned coral. Starting off the page and going in circular motions. Okay, and then I'm going to move into my candy apple, which again, we're going to start off the page, circular motion, and I want this to be where my darkest color is going to be, which is on this end. Okay, and I'm leaving a gap between the 2 colors. Perfect. Now I'm going to move this aside just a second, wipe down my mat a little so I'm not mixing any colors. Okay, so now we'll go back and we'll mix, okay? The reason I like to do that is I like to see where my colors are going to be, make sure I have a good amount of each color, and it also gives me the opportunity to have both colors there and mix them at the same time. So starting off, and then I'm just going to try to slightly fill in that white area and go into the orange, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing with your orange. I didn't add any ink, but I'm just going to go over that white area and where it's mixing, going in circular motions again and going back and forth with the color. Okay, so if you get some orange on your paper, on your sponge, we're just going to wipe it off with our extra piece of paper here. Okay, so again, going in, starting with the lighter of the 2 colors, or the right side, I guess, and filling in that white and going on to the next color. Let's cover that bad boy up. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring in that coral, and again, going over the white, mixing into the orange. Going in circular motions. And you can go back and forth with the 2 colors You can add more color to your sponge if it's needed. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this. We'll come in with, again, our abandoned coral and cover up that white and go into the red. See how it leaves it still kind of white? And then I can come in with the darker color and again go over and into that abandoned coral. Come back in. And you're just going to keep mixing. And it might take a second. It might take a second to get the full effect that you want. Okay. So, and then you can kind of hold it up, look at it at different angles, say, okay, I think I need a little bit more orange over here. You can add some more. You know, really go in and add where you feel like you need it. And then you have this beautiful blended piece of paper. How awesome is that? Okay. So let's make a card out of this, shall we? Simple card. And I'm going to show you how you can pull these, do a few of these in different colors, have a stack of them, and let me show you just a few things you can do with these. Okay, so I have trimmed this down. I have it to a 5 1/4 by 4. And I have a card base here, which fold that in half. And then we're going to glue this down to my paper. And of course I run out of adhesive because every time I do a video, I have to run out of adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down. I really like the look of a white edge on my cards, so I do that. Now we're going to add a fun technique here because the oxides, they react to water and it kind of takes away the color. So I have a little spray bottle here and I'm actually going to open it up and I'm going to tap with the edge some water on there and you can see it start to turn. Do you see that? I'm going to take my piece of paper towel here and just press it on and pick up that excess water. And then you can really see that reaction. You can even take it and do a spritz, which is going to be a lot more smaller dots all over it. And just look how cool that is. I love the reaction it has with water. Now, I have this piece of white here, which I'm going to stamp on. Let's see, I need a backup adhesive. I have this is a happy birthday stamp that I believe it's in the core catalog. Let's see here. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it's not. But it's a cute birthday stamp. I believe you could still get it on my website. The number is D1960. Not 100% sure what it's called. I will leave a link to it down below if it is still available. But I'm going to take this happy birthday. Okay. I'm going to put it on a block. Okay, some archival black here. Just going to put some foam underneath this. And I'm going to stamp happy birthday. Now this piece of paper is 1 by 5 1/2 because I do want it to go all the way across my card front. I'm going to clean my stamp with the stamp chamois. Always put your stamps away right away so that you don't lose them. Or lose where they go. That's a pain in the butt. Okay, so I am going to take my black dauber here that has gone in my black soot. And I'm going to ink the edges ever so slightly of both that white piece and my card. This is just going to add another layer of funness to your card. Cute. Okay. This is not my favorite adhesive, but since I'm doing a card, that's okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this across the bottom here. And then I did pull out, I have, you guys know if I punch something, stamp something, then cut it, I always make extras because if I'm going to pull it out, it's getting used. You know what I mean? So I have some extra pieces of the stitched flowers here. Which, another good reason, if I'm making cards, I was just able to go pull this out, you guys. And I had pieces already done. I didn't have to pull out my die cutting machine. It was already done for me. Okay, we're just going to add this flower here. Add some adhesive onto these leaves. And then we'll add those there. Maybe add some black enamel dots because I have them sitting here. Look how cute that card was. And it came together so easy because I had pieces already cut out. I'm sure you all have some kind of sentiment stamp set that you can use. It could be anything. And then just having a bunch of different colored ombre looking distress oxide cards. Just have a pile of them. I want to show you a few other cards that I did make before I jumped on. Let's see. Let's do this one first. So this is another ombre card. And I took our die cut, which is in the current catalog, the core catalog, floral background right here. I cut it out in black and just placed it over and then added a sentiment. Such an easy card, but has a big kick. I mean, I love that ombre behind here. And I have, I used picked raspberry, and then I used candy apple, abandoned coral, and tattered rose. And it came out so pretty, you guys. Okay, so there's that one. There is this cute card that I have black seedless preserves, chipped sapphire, and peacock feathers. And then I just added a couple pieces of scrap paper, stamped a little astronaut, and stamped mission control. We have a birthday. I did that same water technique on here to make it look like space. Look how cute that is. And again, it's just using that simple background, but it gives the card such a big pop bang. Okay, here is another card. Now this one is awesome. This one is completely flat. It is just a piece of paper on a card base. And I did chipped sapphire. And then I did pinked raspberry, chipped sapphire again, peacock feathers. And then I pulled in my toffee ink and did it at the bottom, but left the white line so it looks like the edge of the ocean. And it's a scenery. And then I just stamped in black the palm trees, a couple birds, and I miss you. This could be I miss the ocean, or it can mean I miss you. But it's just a cute card. And you guys, it's a flat card. There's nothing to it except for some blending of my oxides and some stamping. It is totally awesome. So there's that one. And then here's another technique that you can run with. So with this one, I did the peeled paint, mowed lawn, and the candy apple. And then I ran it through my die cutting machine and die cut this Merry Christmas. So it now has this cute ombre look. And if I was to die cut this first and then try to ombre it, it would tear it up. It wouldn't work, right? So another fun thing you can do with these, if you don't want to make a card front out of it, run it through your die cutting machine, cut flowers, cut sayings, cut all sorts of things you can cut with your die cutting machine and your pile of blended papers. So like I said, pull them out, do a few, cut, take a few sheets of white paper, cut them down card front bases, and just play with it. Make a box, have a pile of them, and then you can create fast cards if you need a card really quick. And it's just fun. I love art, and I love playing with different mixed medias and different, what's the word I'm looking for? Elements that you can use on a card. Watercolors, the gloss sprays, these distress oxides. They're so fun. It's so fun to just get them all out and play with them, play for an hour or two and just relax and concentrate and learn some new techniques, you guys. So again, if you're interested in any of this stuff, I will leave links down below for the things that are available. And you can visit my website, scrapwithamber.closetomyheart.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. And if you want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button. And I hope you guys have a fabulous, fabulous day. And that you guys can maybe pull out some distress oxides, play with them, get crafty. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.